Well, good afternoon. Welcome to a really wonderful edition of Restore Honor and Integrity to Ben Salem. A lot's going on, as you probably all are aware, and things are heating up so much that I'm getting the impression Haman is using certain people to try to intimidate me. You know who you are. And as I said, we're going to have to agree to disagree. And that's the end of the discussion. Can't handle that, sorry. But there's, as I said, so much going on. I mean, let's start with the school district in particular. I mean, it's running amok. I think what amazes me in that area is how can a situation like this go from 20 plus people committing serious felonies, serious criminal acts, and none of them are getting any jail time whatsoever. The other thing that really concerns me too is it went from $1.5 million to $600,000. Okay, where did the other 900, I think, over 900,000 go? It really concerns me here. It really concerns me. And I think what gets me the most with it is you've got somebody like the former chief of Cornwalls. He's still allowed to be a firefighter. He's a convicted criminal as far as I'm concerned. He shouldn't be a part of anything within this township. Speaking of firefighters, the firefighters have a wonderful little message, I'm sure, for all of the township. And I'm sure you guys are going to want to know it. They basically want to say to the members of the Ben Salem Fire Service, as well as all the naysayers and people that have been inhaling the little dictator fumes, we told you so. Remember when they came, and I'm referring to the mayor, Haman, and Ponticelli, came to all you guys and told you they were going to have this meeting, and they didn't tell you what the meeting was about? A lot of the smart ones knew there was a problem. And the problem was, they find out, oh, they're going to take $12,500 from each fire company to help pay for the newly established paid fire company. Now, the funny thing is, they were told that, prior to getting the SAFER grant money for the paid fire company, they wouldn't be losing any funding. Isn't that a lie? And the other thing, too, speaking of the SAFER grant, the first year of that grant was supposed to pay for the paid fire department in its entirety. And please don't try to lie, Haman. I've done research, and I've spoken to people from FEMA. You see, guys, just so you know, and make it very clear here, they violated township code and the requirements of the SAFER grant. Okay? They're claiming that the paid fire company is a combination paid and volunteer fire company. It's not. In fact, Haman has been referring to paid fire company as fire company number 7. The mayor now has taken to listing the fire and rescue tax as a separate entity. You know, whenever he publishes the budget breakdown, you'll see it. I have a copy of every budget for at least the last 3 years. If you want to see it, I'll send you a copy. See, much like the school taxes and the county taxes, they're displayed in a particular way. He displays it that way on the budget. See, the problem is, unlike the school and the county, fire departments and rescue squad, they're not taxing entities. They can't tax independent of the township. This is what's basically called the shell game. It's basically an attempt to confuse and mislead the public, and so far it's been working. Now all of a sudden, the director of public safety and Deputy Dog called all the fire departments together to get another meeting. No agenda, no information as to what the whole meeting was about. Well, guess what they're doing now? They want all the fire departments to support a new ordinance. You'll love it. They want them to support a new ordinance that's going to create a new position in the township called Fire Service Administrator. And this is going to increase the fire rescue tax by $1 mil. Sounds like more money going to the fire departments, right? Well, you ain't wrong. See, this is the following you need to consider. Okay? And pardon my cat here, he's extra demanding today. You see, they're creating this committee now that's supposed to have all the fire companies submit their purchases to the committee for approval. Sounds terrific, right? You know, there's supposed to be 6 fire companies with equal votes, so, you know, it seems fair until you find out who composes the committee. The committee is composed of the following people. The paid fire battalion chief, as a member, who happens to be vote number 2 for Nottingham Fire Company. The police sergeant, who's a part of emergency management. He's vote number 3 for Nottingham Fire Company. And last but not least, the head of the Ben Salem Rescue Squad. Vote number 4 for Nottingham. This was brought to the mayor's attention. He said, oh, we changed it. But when they pressed him and asked what it was changed to, he's like, oh, we don't know yet. You know, that makes absolutely no sense to me. That sounds like somebody's not really willing to tell the truth. And they're expecting the rest of the fire service to go along with it, and they have so far. You know, it makes you understand now how the, you know, slaughterhouses get cows and poor innocent little animals to follow each other into the execution chute. This is another interesting thing they did. They told the fire company, all the fire services, each fire company, they wouldn't be taking $25,000 as they predicted from each fire company in 2015. They followed this with they're no longer paying for their workman's compensation insurance, and they're not going to pay the liability insurance on their fire apparatus. Nasty, isn't it? Gets even better. They now have to pay for mandatory physicals out of their own funds. This is totaling to almost $50,000 lost from each fire company. $50,000 of revenue lost from each fire company, and there's no end to the taking in sight. Apparently this billing starts in 2014 before any tax increase. So telling them they're not going to take any more just means buckus. In short here, there's a screwing going on. They also promised that with the paid fire company, they'd have an engine on site within 5 minutes and ready to operate 90% of the time. They lied. You see, they allow the engine to leave town during their lowest manpower times, which increases the danger to the general public. Thought the citizens of this town would like to know. Thought you'd also want to know, and this has been a big thing, but the mayor and director and deputy director of public safety and all those that are high up, for some reason, continue to ignore this particular very important thing. That this paid fire department and everything going along with it, it continues to violate the Fair Labor Standards Act. If you look in it, it's in section CFR 29533.100 through 106. You want to get technical here. But basically it states you cannot be a paid member of the same municipal service, fire service, that you're volunteering in. I guess apparently the mayor's thinking that Ben Salem's a separate country from the rest of America. He sure is acting that way. Best part is, you know, they want the fire service and the citizens of this town to blindly support this ordinance change, while they're refusing to show the ordinance to the fire service or the general public of Ben Salem before it's even implemented. I call that deception. We want to see it. I guess the mayor's taking a page from Nancy Pelosi, you know, with Obamacare. You know, we'll have to pass the bill before we can see what's in it. We'll pass the ordinance before we know what's in it. I'm giving a shout out to Union Fire Company. They've been through hell and back. And I know that they're so scared right now to say a word. Although I applaud their president. Keep standing up to Haman. Keep standing up to him and put the fear of God into him. Don't be afraid, guys, to stand up to him. I know you've been through so much. The rest of you fire companies have absolutely no excuse. You've been putting your heads in the sand too long. Well, Nottingham's got an excuse. Their chief and deputy chief are paid firefighters for the township. If they say anything questionable about it, they won't get paid. Gee. As a result of all of this, the mayor and the director of public safety, they've basically created fear among the fire service members in Salem. That's utterly, totally uncalled for. Now they're going to want not just the fire service, but the people of this town to back something that they refuse to even show the details of. It's going to create this new crony position of fire service administrator, and we don't know what the job description is. They're going to take $100,000 off the top of the tax increase for this. And if that's enough, like I said, short, if that's not enough, here's this committee that they want to form, where 4 of the votes come from one fire company, the same fire company that's had a history of financial mismanagement and a lot of other problems. All we need to see about this, and I've said this, is that the fire service here in Salem, they can't support a paid fire department. The fire service in the township has had little, if anything, to say about what's been going on. And, what about the $5 billion plus waste of taxpayers' money that's up along Street Road, near the Turnpike exit, for the Easy Pass? They claimed that training center was the state-of-the-art fire training center in Pennsylvania. Yeah, right. Go look at that really closely. Take a really good look at it. And go to the one in Croydon. You'll see a far difference. You'll see Croydon makes this look like a dollhouse. You see, the one here in Salem, it's known as the Salem Great White Elephant. I kind of find that funny. It's right at the exit ramp of the Turnpike, as I said. They're throwing bad money after bad with no end in sight, and it's got to stop. They claim the fire service in Salem's got too much equipment. Now, that might be true, but the township's created a government that's way too large and not sustainable. Even with the addition constantly every year, the $11 million from the casino, what about all the extra vehicles that are running around the police department here in the police department that aren't needed? Why did the director of public safety and deputy dog do they really need a $40,000 SUV to go riding around in? And what about the cops on the motorcycles? If they would put them back, all those cops in police cars, and eliminate that motorcycle unit, that would also eliminate one sergeant and save the township over $100,000 right there with no loss of protection for the public. I know the fire service, I'm really hoping they will have the guts to stand up and ask more questions and demand answers, but we highly doubt it. The public needs to know, and it needs to know now. That's why I'm here and I'm saying it. Public needs to watch the fire companies. See who publicly or privately supports this ordinance change in the tax increase. And when you see this, go and ask them about the ordinance. If they tell you anything about it, with the exception for Nottingham, they're lying through their teeth. They haven't seen it. Trust me. I've also learned when it comes to a couple of particular fire companies, Nottingham and Newport in particular, I was made aware of just how much both of them are Haman's little pets. And they influence him in every way possible, including in the Safer Grant. I thought Haman was so diabolical and intelligent. Well, he is, but there's more brains, there's more criminals in that Safer Grant than him, let's just put it that way. And I know who you are. Apparently Nottingham's Haman's favorite firehouse, and that's why they get away with their financial mismanagement. I learned that they allegedly got the better deal with that grant for the radios for their fire trucks. According to what I learned, each person allegedly got radios. In other words, 4 on a truck. So the 4 people on a truck each get a radio. While the other fire companies are lucky if they get 2 per truck. That's a safety hazard. These radios are valued at between $5,000 to $6,000 per radio, You want to talk about favoritism? You're figuring at the cheapest $5,000. Okay, that's probably, I'm guessing, anywhere between 20 to 40,000 that went to Nottingham. That's kind of sad. I think the grant was for 60,000 or more. I could be wrong. Hey, somebody want to give me the exact figures? Go for it. Another little interesting goodie I learned is that, you know, as I said, Newport's another one of Haman's pets. They're getting away with, you know, spending things regardless of the cost. I learned they recently purchased an engine truck, and the township went and paid for it, no questions asked. And the funny thing is, in the meantime, Eddington went to purchase an engine and a fire chief's car, I believe it was, and they got the third degree over it. I think that's called playing favorites. And the funny thing is, you know, somebody had the nerve to question me on that. Somebody called, I Know the Facts, I believe. Yeah, I Know the Facts. Yeah, right. I love how this person accuses me of being a coward and is accusing me of picking on people that would save me in a moment's notice. Hey, first off, I want to make it clear, and I've made it clear to everybody on here, I have the highest respect for all honorable first responders. I'm a firefighter's daughter. I know you've heard it, but I am. My dad's retired from not just the fire service, but also from a regular job that he worked at for 30 plus years. I showed him some of the stuff that was going on, and he was amazed, because he knows totally that what's going on is wrong. I don't pick on anybody. I don't hate anyone. You don't believe it? Too bad. I got my facts from honest research. Very honest research. I've submitted right to know requests and been denied, which proves my point. I've gotten things from concerned firefighters that I've been able to back up. And, oh, last but not least, news articles, and you say that's not valid. I never said anything negative about fire safety. I want to make sure that that's first and foremost. That's why I'm saying against this favoritism. But hey, nobody apparently wants to listen because they're so deluded with the fumes of the little dictator. In particular, somebody that I know of on here who I'm not going to name. I've been falsely accused of hating this town and the first responders, that I don't see anything positive about this town, and that's completely untrue. I've said a lot of nice things about this town. When I find something, pardon me, when I find something genuinely positive about this town to post, guess what? I'll post it. I have posted numerous items on honorable first responders who do wonderful things around here. They don't get any real recognition. They don't get any real recognition because, well, His Majesty and Haman and Nabal won't allow it. They like taking credit for themselves. I've also posted on the recent kindnesses of the MREs that were handed out after Sandy. Does somebody completely forget that? I've posted about the real person behind Holiday Heart of a Community. I've also posted about on several cops. See, a lot of the stuff isn't around because the previous site I had was unlawfully taken down. So in light of all this, as I said before, I'm issuing a challenge to anybody out there who shares this false pretense. Give me a story or article. Give me something on anybody in this town that is doing something genuinely positive for this community. Make sure that this has nothing to do with anybody within the township. I'm referring to the mayor, Fred Horan, Pat Ponticelli, or anybody high up. It's somebody completely honorable, and I'll be checking out every story you give, so make sure it's genuine. Don't believe me? I will be checking. Now, as I said in the beginning, to those that have been trashing me and saying I'm posting nonsensical BS, that I'm bashing this town, which, you know, it's getting so boring hearing it repeatedly. All I'm going to say to you is I stand on the truth, and we're going to have to agree to disagree. If that's something you don't like, I'm sorry. But I'm through going around the bush. Well, got a lot to do today. People think I hide behind this computer. That's bull. I have a busy life. I have a private life, too, that I choose not to share with anybody out there because I don't want it used to illegally harass me. Speaking of which, I have proof that people within the township have been harassing me and threatening me. And I have reported it to the authorities. So, Haman, Nabal, start explaining. That's all for now. Have a wonderful day.